Okay, good morning. Thank you for coming to my talk. Talk about the verbal loans in Formosan languages. And where do I go? So, one second. Okay. Okay, now. What happened? Do this to me. Yes. What? Yeah. Sorry. This right. Is oh, thank you. Right. Here is my outline. I will talk about the world lower database, and then we come with literature review, and then I kind of categorize the morphological patterns of the balloons that shown here, and I will go to details later. Okay. In the introduction, the world lower database shows that nominal loanwords are typologically rare. Okay, so you can see that nominal loanwords are twice as common as verbal loanwords. Like for example, nouns constitute 31%, and the verbs only half of it, while the ratio of adjectives and adverbs is similar to that of verbs. And Hogan proposed the following scale of adaptability. Noun is more than verb, more than adjectives, adverb, preposition, and then the least borrowed is interjection. So the more right-hand part of the speech are, the more difficult they are to be borrowed. So it is a language universal phenomenon that loanwords tend to be nouns. And so in the contact history of Taiwan, during the past 400 years, we see that they have, Formosan people have encountered different ethnic groups from within and outside of the island. And the history can be divided into 5 periods. With Dutch period, within Dutch period and Spanish period, we have Dutch and Spanish loanwords. And then we come to Chinese immigration period. We have the Ming Dynasty. During Ming Dynasty, the Kingdom of Dongning, with racial period. So then followed by Qing Dynasty rule. About 200 years, we saw the Southern Ming and the Hakka immigrants. And then Japanese rule, comes Japanese loanwords, and then now we speak Mandarin Chinese, but I don't see Mandarin Chinese as loanwords. I see them as some kind of probably in semantic they chaos or like code switch. Okay. So we see donor languages in the history. We have Spanish, maybe through Tagalog and Dagi or Southern Min and Hakka Japanese. Most of the aesthetic loanwords are in Japanese. And then we see nearby indigenous languages like Burundu Sao, Basai or Amis to Gamelan, Taiwan, and Buyuma contact, and Achaya to Seixia and so on. Okay, so the data collected in this paper mainly come from the online dictionary of the indigenous languages, and they serve as a basis for further interviews and discussion with native speakers of the donor and recipients languages. So here I acknowledge my language consultants. Okay, in the literature review, we see I categorize the local study in Formosan language into 3 parts. The first one is diachronic, the second one is philological, and then there's a comprehensive study. Those in the first category focus on diachronic inquiry and discuss the boundary between neighboring languages. And Professor Lee observed that in South there is extensive lexical and phonological, though not morphosyntactic borrowing from Bunun. And then there are some long phonemes. And the long phonemes provide clues to when certain long words were borrowed into South. So this irregular sound correspondence can be used to distinguish long words from being mistakenly considered as cognates. And the second category investigate long-word phonology or morphological adaptations, some of which adapt OT as the analytic framework. And this category accounts for the majority of long-word studies in Formosan language. For example, these OT approaches include this emphasis focus on Amis, Buyuma, Saisha, or Zhou, and then we have descriptive study legends on Bunun and Zetun, and Zhou, and her students, or in Saisha and Huang in Amis. And then we have this research works describe different grammatical levels of long words in a rather comprehensive manner. And like Zetun's 2016 and STC report mentioned that the type of long words in Saisha, which can be divided into material longs and also structural longs. And then we have discussed the phonetic adaptation, syllable, structural parts of speech, semantic categories of Japanese long words in Ataya. And there's a official report by Yeda, a preliminary study of long words in Formosan languages. And this project collected a total of 2,949 long words from the 16 indigenous groups, which is recognized by the government. And these long words found in these groups are published on the website. And then the content of this report includes lexical analysis. So she talks about semantic categories, parts of speech, borrowing etymology, and semantic changes. And then also usage analysis, which are changes in vocabulary size, frequency of use, and attitude towards long words. So according to the report, verbal longs account for only 2.6%, while nominal longs 97.4%. So in terms of verbal longs in the history, they are not like focused studies. So I collect some verbal longs in South from Burun in Professor Lee's paper, and those in red are in different. They have different prefixes. So this is just an overview. And then in the literature, there are also some verbal long in like sketch grammar, so they are only like words. So you see that I haven't seen a systematic study how to in terms of these verbal longs in terms of their morphological integration. So the aim of this paper is to see how they behave. So in the also discussion that you can see the adaptation occurs not only in phonology but also in affixes. So this is an inspiring observation. First, when a Bunun affix is not found in Sao, it is replaced by a corresponding affix in Sao when a phone is borrowed. So we have B gaspit in Bunun and Bu gaspit in Sao. And O is Dundun and Shidundun. And also, when a root from form does not occur as a free form in Sao, you may add an affix or a serial duplication to make it one. For example, bisfis versus wa ushush. Okay, so here is my the pattern that I analyzed. And the first one, we can see the nouns are borrowed as verbs. Okay, they tend to be Japanese nouns, and then they are treated like verbs. In an every sentence, these long words exhibit citation forms. So we have these examples from the Gadaya Saitic. And you can see that in the sentences, they are not inflected at all. So wala de kundi dagesu, or osa pohegus darasa kensana munado mesa. And then we also have window, which is can be used as a a sports window, and also a noun, and then here is a verb. And here, Gambo, I interviewed this Japanese person, Japanese consultant, and he said that it's probably an affected area, but then here the meaning changed to have a cold. Okay, and then in my previous study, I also found these words that they are treated sometimes as verb, sometimes as noun. So here, gegomu is a noun, and then gegong is a verb. And then here, wadabagin hilaga wadanda. Here, bagin is a verb, and gimun as well. Okay, and then we have niges, nisigen, and then basigen. So in Galavu, there's also the similar long word. And then this one with different phonological forms, and it's treated as like a verb, and then a taya as well. Okay, there are also often a verb in the Dora language is borrowed as a nominal or precategorical root, which is evidenced by affixation of dynamic verbalizers. And so here in Taiwan, we see these two Taiwanese words into Taiwan and Puyuma as like debts or credits. Or in Taiwan, we have Bakiaf, or which is from Taiwanese Bakiao, but it's become the meaning is changed. So here you see that Kukian is actually a noun, and then Nabi Kukian Magan here it's treated like a noun. Then Buyuma same, okay. So Nukian, and then Du Bukiamai Guda Baisu. Here we see that Taiwan Bakia or Bakia, and then the lower is used as a noun to mean coins or lots for drawings. So it can also be inflected to become a verb. So like here we have dua ga senang and dua bakiaf. So please make a lots for drawing, and also aku sunga jeng lai maya penagian. Okay, and then Taiwan borrows some adjectives in Taiwanese and turn them into stative verbs with adding ma in front. So ma gong gong means stupid, and ma nama jingki means clean. And then we also have an example from Sakizaya, a bean, and then it can be prefixed by ma in a non-AV sentences to mean to be flattened. Okay, and so the adjective in Japanese borrowed into Formosan language are used without further morphological markings. So this one is found in Taiwan and Bunun, Abunai. So they have no morphological markings in this form. And Saisha also borrowed some Japanese adjectives treated like static verbs, and some with meaning change. So here, asha means from be hygienical to be disgusting. And then here, kili is treated like static verbs, and also kusai. Okay, and so then there's for morphological integration of verbal loans. We see affixation of voice markers and the nominalization of verbal loans, and also affixation of causative markers and spatial markers, and finally reduplication of verbal loans. So here we have a list of words borrowed by Gavilan from Taiwanese, and they are used like native verbs. And this data from Li and Sujita 2006, and you can see that it's very integrated into their morphology. And like Manian to Sugat, Aizimna or Miyan, Miku to Mapui. So then okay, I'm running out of time. So I just show you the data. Okay, and then in Sakizaya, we also see many similar examples from Japanese. And here they have Bikudai, Makudai, and also Mikudai and Gudayan. And then we have Hibangan, and so Bingyu study. Okay, so Bingyu. And then style as well, it can be treated, it can be affixed by imperative suffix. Okay, in Saisha we have Hagalong from this Haga verbal phrase tissue. And so it also means to offer a hand. And so here we see two forms in AB sentence and UV sentence. And then nominalization is common for verbal long in Formosan language to be taken as a root for nominalization. And we see involve adjective and locative expressions. And here in Buyuma, you can see that it can be used as a verb or as a noun. And then in Sakizaya, we have the affix I to form an adjective noun, like mikuwayan, mikuwanai, or mi about y. And then we also nominalization also involves the formation of instrumental noun. So like poichu in Gamelan is borrowed as pushu, to eat a snack while drinking. And then it can be it's a sapuishuan means food taken with liquor. Or in Taiwan we have this wenden. Okay, so here Dua Gusi Wundindin becomes like my driver's license. And also we have it's quite common we see that the causative markers to appear with this long word. So ba gai gi or ba ju ding, and then ba xia xin, and ba hi wang or ba xia xin, and so on. Okay, then we have like infix as well. So here some style examples. Two style examples. Okay, like reduplication, you see that they tend to reduplicate the rightmost syllable foot, like kai yi in Taiwan, and then or wen ding ding to indicate progressiveness. And then we have also thank you, some Japanese loan words, thank you or shu xiao bao bai. So like here, thank you do dai hu. And then or xiao bao bai marka cao cao imaza. Okay, here we also have some noun-like loan words, but they are treated like verbs. So we have two kinds of balls borrowed into Taiwan and Buyuma. And here we have Banulu Bulu in Taiwan, and then we have in Buyuma we have Wa Mari Mari in Pataran. Okay, Hakka also were borrowed Hakka by Sasha, and then they are because Hakka is a Chinese language, so in which lexical words are usually monosyllabic, so they need to reduplicate to conform to the canonical word in Sasha. So Han becomes Han, and Go. We can work out the Hakka origin here with this word, and then Gong. Okay, so here his examples show Han ila, Da Osha ila, and then Go ila ga Ramish Nisho. Also, here we have some other example with Gong and Gong as well. And Dinsho can also be undergo CL replication and CVC reduplication. So that in Dinsho. Okay. All right. Concluding remarks. So as you can see, this paper presents a systematic study of morphological integration of verbal loans in Formosan languages. The following are observed. Okay, you can see the change of word classes from noun to verb, verbs to nouns, adjective to substantive verbs, depending on the donor languages. And then you can see the analysis of these long verbs as a native verb, which can be affixed with different voice markers, causative marker, or affixed or criticized by adjective markers. And nominalization of this long verb is associated with adjective, locative, and instrumental nouns. And finally, reduplication, recursive patterns also vary depending on the recipient languages. And that's the end of my talk. Thank you.